And a few pages after, that's exactly what Mary, the main character, does. She does something stupid. Hi, hello, friends and strangers. I know it's been a while. It is now like August 2022, and I haven't been vlogging for months. I think 3 months now. So, since I am picking up a book, I am motivated to pick up a book right now, a physical one at that. I decided to maybe get into vlogging again. So here I am doing that, attempting to do that. The book that I picked is Verify by Joël Charbonneau. Correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I picked this book up because it's been in my shelf for like a really long time now. I bought this like 2021 when I got too excited to enter a bookstore after like a year into the pandemic, which we are still in. So I've been curious about this book because of the way it was blurbed and the way it was promoted, which is a mix of like Fahrenheit 451 and George Orwell's 1984, both of which I've already read. So I think it has to do with it being a dystopian-ish kind of book. So I'm giving this book a try. Maybe I could get my jives back in terms of like doing booktube. I do miss it quite a lot. I miss the feeling of like being able to upload a video and the relief and the happiness of it already being out there. I don't miss the effort or the amount of effort that I have to put into the filming and the editing process, but here we are. I am attempting to get back to where I was going with booktube, and I think this is a pretty long intro. I don't know when this is going to be up or if it's going to be finished anyway, so bye. I'm going to proceed to reading Verify for now. Hello again, friends and strangers. So just a very quick update on where I am with Verify. Not so far in. I haven't been able to really sit down and just focus on the book and read for quite some time. So I've only finished like 4 chapters, and there really isn't much to say yet aside from like I really can't picture yet how this world is going to be set up like a dystopian world. So I can't picture that yet unless that's just in my head or that's just my expectation that this is gonna be a dystopian world. There are hints of it, like when the main character would say something like how paper is like literally paper is off the market or is like out of circulation already. Like it's so rare to see a literal paper, because everything is, it's like the government executed plans, her projects, her campaigns to make the world green again. The main character, the mystery of it, at least on where I am in this book, is that her mother died, and her mother was like an artist, sort of like a worker for the government, because like the government has this like certain government agency we're in. They beautify the areas by putting up art everywhere. So they believe that putting up art wherever, aside from lifting everyone's mood, it makes the world a better place, sort of like that. I think I'm summarizing it badly right now, but only because I've only been reading until chapter 4, so forgive me for that. It's already Friday, so I have some time this weekend to read, and hopefully I'm going to make a dent on the book. So wish me luck. Bye again. Okay, so I know I just updated like after I read chapter 4 and I'm currently in the middle of chapter 5. So, starting to get a hang of the characters and she is best friends with a family whose surname is Webster. And it just dawned on me as I was reading the chapter that there's a part where they meet up with the father, and he was introduced as Mr. Webster. And it's funny because, like, I had this realization. It stemmed from this scene where it was implied that certain words aren't known, aren't taught in this current time of Chicago. The story is taking place in the United States and it's so far into the future. I don't know. Just some random thoughts. Like, the more I know. Because, some words aren't known by people, aren't taught, and it seems like there are some words where they are restricted or they're banned by the government. I think I'm just running on with these thoughts. It's pretty shady that the best friend of the main character has a surname called Webster. Okay, I'll do some update again sometime. Bye. Hello again, friends and strangers. I am almost done with chapter 11 of Verify. Again, it's one of the things that I really don't like when it comes to books in general. But in this case, it's a young adult novel, if I'm not mistaken. The main character, Mary, was told to stay still, stay there in the house, don't do anything stupid or incriminating or whatever. And a few pages after, that's exactly what Mary, the main character, does. She does something stupid by exploring on her own and possibly putting herself, her family, and other people at risk. That's something that I really, really fucking hate, and that frustrates me so much. Like, is this just a way to get the plot going? Because why else would you do that? I get that there is an emotional factor into it. Our main character is mad, frustrated, she's confused, whatever. But it's just so annoying. It's not as if you're the only one being affected by this. Like, there are other people who's going to be affected by your own actions. And I really, really am annoyed by that. And I just had to make an update. So I'm almost done with the chapter, and there are just some things that are happening now, like at this chapter, that I just know would bite her in the ass very, very soon. Like, it's pretty obvious. It's a bit handed over to you as the reader. So I'm just waiting for her to get fucked over by what she did in this chapter. So I'll update again soon. Bye-bye. Hi again, friends and strangers. I think this will be my last update for Verify by Joelle Charbonneau. Initially, I borrowed the audiobook for this one because I've been finding myself leaning towards books that have audiobook versions or something that I could easily borrow from Libby. But for this book, I decided that I should try to read with just my eyes, and that's why I dropped the audiobook for this one. It was a good experience. Like, it's a bit life altering for me because I've been used to just listening to audiobooks and doing something else, like doing paint by numbers while I'm listening to an audiobook, mostly mystery thrillers, and I find that productive for me because I think this is a totally different conversation. But yeah, I just want to say that I dropped the audiobook for this one and just read the physical book as is. It ended in a way that would obviously imply that there's going to be a sequel. I'm going to check that out after I do this video update. What are my thoughts and how would I rate this book? I think I would rate this book around 3.5 or 4. I don't know yet. I just haven't gathered my thoughts, but it's not that mind-blowing. It's not as if it's a new concept or it's a new trope. It's bringing something new to the table, but I do appreciate the fact that it made me think that this could happen in real life, or it's something that is already happening now or has happened before. It tackles the topics of historical revisionism and distortion as well as censorship, because this is a world wherein paper is no longer allowed, or like people are encouraged to recycle because the government packages it or promotes it as a way of like, oh, we're saving Mother Earth. Look at how glorious our city now is because of the efforts that we've been putting into saving our environment. People just haven't realized that when the government started banning or encouraging people to drop physical books, certain words were also dropped along the way because the government released revised books through digital copies already. So like there's literally no way for people to verify if what they're reading is right, if it's the facts, if it's based on what really transpired from before. So for example, things that happened in World War II, those were diluted and some parts were revised and deleted in the modern version of the text. It's something that I feel like is happening now, like not as rampant or not as in your face as what was happening in Verify, but it's something that happens and it's a scary thought. Words like revolution, diversity, Verify were banned, and since the story takes place like 50 to 60 years from around 2018, so like roughly 2060, 2070, it wasn't literally said in the book that, oh, this is set in the 2050s or 2060s. It's just those were implied, like, oh, decades into 2018, etc., etc. Okay, so it's set in the future. And in this future world of Chicago, people weren't allowed, per se, to like travel outside of the United States. And people weren't also allowed to immigrate to the United States. Of course, if you were born into this specific time, what you'll know is what the government is teaching you, what your teachers are teaching you. So it's not as if there's any way that you would know what you don't know. So in this case of the main character, Mary, when she came upon the word verify, she didn't know what the word means, and she had to search it up to know what it means, and it didn't come up because it's a forbidden word. So that's where the story moves forward. It's when Mary started being curious, etc., etc. So I'm gonna try to make this as non-spoilery as possible. I wouldn't divulge any specific events that happen in the book. I'm starting to think if this book would have worked if there were also POVs from other characters, like not necessarily all of the main characters, but just characters that would give the book more nuance or more depth, like one or two people from the revolution side, one or two people from the government side. I don't know, I feel like just being in the head of Mary, the main character, was frustrating at times for me, because it's not even a matter of age. Like, she's 16 and I'm literally all years into being 30, but it's not that. It's just that she's a very frustrating character. She's a very annoying character at times. I know you are emotional. I know you're frustrated. I know you're dealing with loss. But to risk yourself and other people just to try to be a hero while at the same time saying that you're not trying to be a hero and you don't know how to be, it's just contradicting in terms of her character. She is a strong character, but she tends to use that strength at the wrong times. Okay, some of the things that I felt like would bite her in the ass in the end didn't happen yet, but I feel like since this is going to be a series, it might play a part in the sequel. The things that she does, she could have done it in a different way and maybe get the same result. I don't know. It's just me. I just find her frustrating to read. It's frustrating to read through her point of view. So right now I'm thinking that maybe it could also have worked if there were like 2 or 3 more characters who lent their perspective of the story. There are certain characters that I wish I could have seen more of, like Rose, Mary's best friend. I feel like she's such an interesting character with a very interesting and strong personality that kind of contrasts Mary. I liked this book enough to actually check out the sequel, but I'm not sure yet if I'm actually gonna read it. Okay, am I going to recommend Verify by Joelle Charbonneau? Maybe, since it's along the same vein as Fahrenheit 451, not as much as George Orwell's 1984. I didn't get that much vibes of that. Mostly Fahrenheit 451, especially if you have read the book, you would notice the parallels or like the similarities, and in terms of like censorship, banning books, etc. You might like this one because it's like a more young adult version of that novel. I mean, I liked it enough, and I'm going to check out the sequel after I film this video. I don't know yet when I'm going to be able to edit this and upload it, but it's definitely gonna happen. It has to. I'm gonna push myself to edit this video this week and hopefully have it up by before the weekend or the weekend. But yeah, thanks for watching up until this bit of this video. I hope this would be the start of me getting back into booktube or YouTube in general. I just missed the process of like talking to people about books, but one step at a time, okay? That's it for me, and I hope you liked this video or at least got curious as to what I'm reading, which is Verify. If you have read Verify, do let me know about your thoughts on this book, whether you agree on some parts or whether there's something that I missed on. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, and that's it, friends and strangers. I will see you again on my next video. Bye bye.